Welcome into the Get in the Hole podcast. Stephen McAvoy here with you on a magnificent Monday to you and yours here in the Underground. Thank you so much for joining us wherever you are, however you're listening. Be sure to throw us a like and sub, 5-star review, whatever the fuck you want to do to get us going on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, and YouTube. KB, where are we at right now with those subscribers at?
We're at 193 on the road to 1K.
Goddamn right.
On the road to 1K, people.
So 193. We're 7 away by the recording of the episode as you and I are doing some Harry Styles late night talking about 11 o'clock on a Monday night. Hopefully we'll break that by the time the next event on the PGA Tour calendar rolls around. Hopefully, who knows? Maybe episode will somehow manage to get to 200. Please like, subscribe, 5-star review, everything. Get us going there. Apple, Spotify, Google, and on YouTube to search Underground Sports Philadelphia for the main pod.
Comment on YouTube as well.
Here.
Comment on YouTube.
Right. And of course, just watch it. Even if you're watching it as background noise, watch the whole episode, watch the playlist.
Just have the volume up just the smallest amount. The volume just has to be up the smallest amount for it to count as a view.
While you're at it, also be sure to follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Get in the Hole Pod. Facebook, just search us at Get in the Hole. And of course, you can find us and our parent network all over the Underground Sports Philadelphia on Twitter and Instagram at Underground PHI. And in Twitch, type those URLs in and backslash that with the Underground Sports PHI. Once again, Stephen McAvoy here, as per usual, every week on the PGA Tour, giving you the news, analysis, and bets. You can follow me on the Twitter machine at Stephen McAvoy _. Same thing on Instagram. And joining me in the seat this week, the CEO, Kyle.
I'm back for some golf talk.
Joining us here. Back here for some golf talk. He's wearing the jumpsuit, pink shorts. Show him off for the kids. The pink shorts. Yeah, I see him.
Out here with the pink shorts. Ready to roll.
I love him, actually.
Ready to roll.
With the matching shirt, too. That helps.
Facts. This shirt is fire.
Once again, now, Big Steve, KB, joining you here. And where better to start with the biggest news to drop as of past weekend was on the, well, actually, literally today or was yesterday, revealing Tiger Woods was offered $800 million to join the LIV Golf Tour. He said no, appropriately. Also, of course, this was months before he came out and talked about it at the Open, his first talk why he didn't join LIV. Kiwi, what do you make of this? First of all, $800 million just kind of pull out of your ass and just hand somebody. It's kind of ridiculous to think about. Even the LeBron $1 billion career deal with Nike. Granted, this is till you die. This is literally $800 million. You put pen to paper. We'll give it to you in cold hard cash, in duffel bags. What do you make?
Yeah, or Cash App bags.
They'll actually transfer it all through Venmo. You just gotta get the approval stamp.
Do you have Zelle by any chance?
PayPal, maybe?
I mean, for Greg Norman to flat out say, yeah, we offered him $800 million, he said no on. Say what you want about Tucker Carlson. Obviously, he's not my favorite person. But to do it on the platform that he has for, a massive audience to be like, yeah, we offered it to Tiger Woods. He said no. I take it in two separate facets. I think one, like you said, it's fucking wild to just be like, yeah, we're going to offer arguably best golfer of all time, the $800 million. Yeah. $800 million. That is such a massive number to try to wrap my brain around. That shout out to Tiger for just being like, yeah, I don't need that. Because if somebody offered me $800 million, I'd have to think long and hard before I turned it down. But then the other thing is it's interesting that, Greg Norman's out there kind of just throwing kind of sneak jabs at Tiger. It's yeah, we offered him to come through. He said no, so, we're going to do our thing. Tiger's going to stay over there with the PGA Tour. It's kind of like a subtle jab at Tiger almost to be like, hey, totally. we tried to get you, but you said no, so you made your bed, go lie in it. And I hate that phrase because it's weird. It's yeah, I made my bed. I want to lie in it.
I
my bed comfy.
Because, the idea. So now, look, we already know that Tiger Woods is already a billionaire. He's one of I think 4 billionaire athletes ever. One of them being LeBron, and now Tiger, and I forget who else in
Michael
the category.
Jordan.
But yeah, MJ. Not for nothing, Tiger Woods doesn't need $800 million to begin with. That's A1. A2 is the fact that I think this. First of all, I think Greg Norman had to have probably disobeyed some sort of an NDA that he probably had with Tiger that says now like we're not going to talk about it. Whatever it is, that's off the table at this point. But Greg Norman doing this, it tells me two things. It tells me one, that it actually might have been a good thing for Live Golf to knock at Tiger Woods, because when you think about it, considering the players that they have and the players that they are projected to get following the Tour Championship. So for those of you who don't know, the next Live event following Bedminster, which happened this past weekend, isn't until after the Tour Championship at the end of August. So players at that point, allegedly Cameron Smith, Hideki Matsuyama, and a few other are expected to then leave to go to Live. The Saudis probably have more money that I can even imagine.
They're printing it right now,
like
Steve.
More money that, like they have more money than like Aladdin going into that like tiger's mouth and finding the cavern full of gold kind of money.
Yeah, they're printing all the money for those guys right now as we speak.
Exactly. So they have all this cash. Is losing $800 million that much of a big deal to them? Probably not. They're now going to save it and put it somewhere else. But I do think that Greg Norman is kind of embarrassed, and the fact that he said it, he kind of played it off like you tell a kid, right? Like a kid doesn't want to like eat his food, right? And you go, oh no, it's okay, it's for the big kids anyways. He's basically telling Tiger Woods like silently, like, hey, yeah, you didn't want to come on, but we're gonna outpace the PGA Tour.
Have fun at the kids' table, pal.
It's a very tall task. Also, to have the balls to say it to the number one player in the world, to the number one player of all time. Granted, I think Greg Norman's already lost his credibility and his notoriety on PGA Tour standings. Where, again, Greg Norman is the second longest number one player in the world behind Tiger. He was number one for 7 years, longer than anybody else except for Tiger. Sounds like obviously he would have been in the annals of golf forever. Him and Phil. And then, of course, they both jumped ship. I think Greg's already at the point where his reputation is tarnished on the PGA Tour. Want to go balls to the wall with it. But you know what? I kind of get it. Because what else does he have to lose? If Live Golf flops, it sucks for him. But he's, at the very least, as of right now, I would argue probably 10 times more successful than any breakaway or quasi-tour or league that we've ever seen in sports. Like the XFL comes in every 3 years and just flops after 6 games. Or the USFL had two weeks where betting and viewership was through the roof, and now they're getting less than like a cricket match in America. Like the average actual like watching is nowhere close to graded. I think this past Sunday, the final round at Bedminster, I believe there was 104,000 concurrent viewers on YouTube, as opposed to the final round of the 168,000 concurrent viewers, about 1.7 million. So the numbers aren't there. But then again,
can you repeat those numbers? You cut out, so I missed the number you said.
No problem. So Live Golf had on YouTube concurrently 104,000 viewers. The PGA Tour had about 668,000 concurrent viewers for the Rocket Mortgage, and they peaked at about 1.7 million. Also including Peacock, NBC Sports, and actually streaming it on national television on USA. Live Golf, while free, only on Facebook and YouTube. Maybe someone doesn't necessarily have the opportunity, or like let's say like old golf is still an old person sport. There's still a large contingency now of younger fans, but I don't think old people are going to be able to go on Facebook unless they're on their phone. But my grandma, but even then, she has no idea how to click a link and go watch Live Golf when they can very easily watch the Rocket Mortgage on USA.
The old golf fans that are on Facebook are on there typing about their freedom, Steve.
Exactly, and they also wouldn't watch Live anyways. So when you think about it, like they aren't there yet in terms of viewership, but at the very least, Greg Norman's pulled out a product that has been more successful than any other league for the most part that we've ever seen. Granted, they're only 3 events in, but they've only got 5 more now for the rest of the year, and we'll see what happens during the PGA offseason when Live Golf plans to have 3 events within the period between the end of August and the beginning of and mid-October, when the 49 Championship plans to come back up and the fall swing happens. Okay, we'll see what happens, but at the very least, if they're providing something, and I think Greg Norman's kind of now throwing with this comment all eggs in his basket and is ready to kind of go balls to the wall with this and see where it goes.
And I mean, to be fair too, like the casual golf fan or somebody who doesn't even watch golf probably knows who Greg Norman is now more than when he was playing.
Absolutely. Yeah, and well, what's interesting too is that of all people, and I think this is probably the most interesting thing, is that people who are like hardcore Republicans are like, I'm I'm not gonna watch this, or I'm gonna watch this. Actually, they're more so in the basket of I'll watch it, which makes sense why Greg Norman would go on Tucker Carlson and talk about it, and this is why Trump has gotten all in on this whole topic. I just find that at some point something's got to give, and I don't know what exactly it will be yet, but once we do, it's going to either be the uptick for LIV or the downfall for the PGA. I can't really tell you what it is quite yet. The other thing, though, that I thought really funny, we're going to get more into LIV talk soon enough, but I have to bring it up now. Obviously, you know that Ivana Trump died, Donald Trump's ex-wife. Trump held the third LIV event at Bedminster at his golf course in Jersey.
Yes, I did. Weekend. I did host the event this weekend, Steve. It was a fantastic event. Many great people were in attendance. It was a fun time. It was a great time. Congratulations to all the golfers out there who showed up to my course to play the course for the LIV golf event. Fantastic stuff by my good friend Greg Norman.
First of all, there's no better tee time than Donald Trump, Caitlyn Jenner, Bryson DeChambeau, and Dustin Johnson. You can't tell me like a more.
And I put the tea time stands for Trump time. Okay, it's Trump time at the Bedminster Golf Course, Steve. Okay, LIV golf is Trump time.
You know, the fact that Ivana Trump was buried just off the grounds of Trump Bedminster, and about a month ago, when they had no. In the Trump National Cemetery, and they buried her just off the grounds, off the property line of Bedminster. And apparently, according to some, Trump did this because he's trying to dodge taxes for paying for the burial.
What can I say? It's a good business decision, Steve. It's a great business move by me and my people. We're just trying to play the system just like you do with your tax write-off, your easy pass and things like that. It's just an easy tax write-off. Make the cemetery over there. It's a great plot of land to bury a body. It's a great thing, Steven. What's so wrong about that?
Would you ever... Well... If you're a true patriot, wouldn't you want to be paying taxes on certain things? That's just me. Would you ever get buried at a Trump National Cemetery?
Hell no. Not a chance. There's no way.
Do you know why there are gates on cemeteries?
People are dying to get in, brother.
Hell yeah! Speaking of golf, the PGA Tour has a lot of major schedule changes. Segues are weird. A lot of different things are happening.
Shout out to Paul Blart.
It's also a Bo Burnham line. So there are major changes coming to the PGA Tour schedule as per a press release this past week. A lot of really funky things are going on. A lot of purses are getting revamped. Schedule. We heard probably about 2 months ago highlighting the changes to come, and the PGA Tour will eventually convert the typical January to September schedule. They're going to keep the fall series intact this year and will change it out come 2023. But some of the big highlights to come from the major changes, and I want to get your take here. They'll have the full fall swing. They're going to now introduce smaller tour events, so only 50 players based on this year's rankings in terms of the FedEx Cup. Some of those events will include the Genesis, the Arnold Palmer, the Memorial. And a ton of purses have been upped to historic numbers, like literally higher than majors, which is like kind of ridiculous. And I have a bit of a gripe with that. But some of the purses that are now slated for 2023, I'll give you the original number and the new number. The Century Tournament of Champions, the first event in January, will go from $8.2 million to $15 million. The WGC Match Play, which will feature the top 64 golfers in the world, $12 million to $20 million. The Genesis will be $12 million to $20 million, as well as Arnold Palmer and the Memorial. So all of those events will be worth $20 million, for up to $8 million from the previous number. The second event of the PGA Tour playoff will be the B&W Championship, like it has always been. That'll go up $5 million from 15 to 20. And the Players Championship, what they call the fifth major, will go from $20 million to $25 million. To give you a look into that, that is more than double the PGA calendar.
It's more than double
insane.
what?
So those purses will jump up. It's more than double the highest purse on the LPGA Tour.
I just got to ask where this money's coming from. Like the fact that like what was this kind of like stashed in like a GTA like hidden safe in your underground illegal club? Like
it was actually buried in the in Jay Monahan's mattress.
It was buried on Trump National Golf Course right off of Bedminster.
Well, so actually, I think, and tying this back to Greg Norman, very interesting enough, he had said that the reason why he broke away from the PGA was that the PGA Tour sponsors alone reel in $40 billion for the company, and the fact that they haven't upped these purses at all for these events is kind of ludicrous, and it's one of the reasons why he left. So obviously, they have the money, and Ben Piro's talked about it a lot, and he even mentioned it last week with me, that they don't give enough to guys on the Korn Ferry Tour. They don't pay for your lodging. They don't pay for your travel. If you miss the cut at a Korn Ferry Tour event, you don't make any money. And really the payouts aren't that crazy. Ben's played 15 events on the Dakotas Tour and a single-day tour in Florida, and he's only made $4,000. Like, there isn't really a lot to be said when it comes to your ability to reel in money if you aren't actually performing well enough. And it's why a lot of these guys, you don't see a lot of guys succeed at the PGA Tour level, and there's so many guys trying to go at it that they don't give enough. And so that was his big gripe that he had mentioned last week, and I totally get it, because the PGA has all this money. Why can't they at least give a little to support their players? Because at the end of the day, what is the PGA Tour going to be if not for the guys that are coming up the pipeline? Like we've seen in the last 3 years alone, the number one player in the world, the only player next to Tiger Woods and Jack Nicklaus to have two majors by 26, Colin Morikawa. As I mentioned earlier, Scottie Scheffler is the number one player in the world. Will Zalatoris, Cameron Young. Like, these are names that have become household names, and they're under 25 years old. Victor Hovland included. Matthew Wolff, well, when he was on tour. These are household names now. Where, granted, they are of the 0.01% to actually get out of the Korn Ferry Tour and get through Q School and develop their way in. Will Zalatoris played 3 events on the Korn Ferry Tour. He won 2 of them, and he got in next week on sponsor exemptions the whole way through for the rest of the year. Like, that doesn't happen to everybody. Trey Mullinax took him 4 years to get through it. There was I read something. There was somebody who was bouncing around tours for 7 years, and finally got their tour card a couple weeks ago when they won. I think it was Ben Martin. Like, these guys are working their asses off to not get anywhere, and that
sounds eerily similar to minor league baseball.
Yeah, but minor league baseball is different because they're all independently owned franchises. This is literally the PGA Tour contracts you as they're the independent contractor, and they literally bring you on. You sign a contract, and you have to retain certain abilities in order to gain or keep your tour card. So it's very different. They could technically they're a union. It isn't.
Well, I'm just comparing it with the state of like the entire like not lawsuit, but you know the case that minor league baseball has had over the past couple of years, where it's come out that multiple franchises, and when I say multiple, I mean like more than like half of Major League Baseball, their minor league players are being put up in, you know, hotels. They're not getting proper housing. They're not getting proper food. They're not getting paid a living wage. It's eerily similar in that sense to, you know, the Korn Ferry guys trying to bounce around, trying to make their way up and everything. Like, there's a lot of comparisons. I think you can draw between the minor league lifestyle of baseball and, you know, trying to get up to the PGA Tour with golf.
And not for nothing, we're also looking at a sport where the parity is through the roof. You can just tell by the PGA Tour standards at who's winning every event. Outside of Scottie Scheffler, who he's won 4 events, and it's a bit of an outlier because he just had a 2-month period where he was by like head and shoulders the best golfer on the planet. there's a different guy winning every week. You see guys like Tom Hoagie wins one week, and then JT wins the next, or Will Zalatoris narrowly beats out Russell Henley, and then the following week, like even this week, Taylor Pendrith on his rookie year on the PGA Tour was battling Tony Finau, and Finau happened to go back to back. We'll get to him in a second. But Taylor Pendrith, out of nowhere, giving him almost a run for his money. Mark Hubbard was up on the board. He hasn't won in 3 years. Like, there's a lot of these guys that are battling and consistently trying to get there. And the worst part is that to keep a PGA Tour card without a win, you must finish in the top 125. So you have to basically make the playoffs every single year if you aren't going to win, which is a pretty tall task. Like, you look at these numbers, and again, I'm kind of spoiling it for what's to come later in the show, but guys that are currently like on the block: Nick Taylor, Cheston Hadley, Kramer Hickok, Rookie Fowler hasn't won an event. He's currently 133. He has to place top 40 this week at the Wyndham in order to qualify for the playoffs and keep his tour card. Paul Casey's back there, but again, he's gone. Danny Willett's going to be somebody who's going to be on the block. Cameron Champ, someone who's come close multiple times. He won last year, but he hasn't won this year, so he might be exempt, and I'm not totally sure, but he could be on the block too. Eric Van Rooyen is someone around there. Doc Redman, Harry Higgs is even on the block to lose his tour card.
Not my boy Harry.
I know, it's so unfortunate, but
hey, maybe it'll maybe give the Philly boy a little bit more time to come on a podcast, okay?
Possibly, or he's time just be grinding Corn Ferry Tour events until he's fucking dead in the face. But again, the problem is the PGA. They had to up these purses. They had to get this rolling. At the same time, though, they're actually making it a little bit more difficult to keep the tour card, because now they're also limiting the reduced sizing of the FedEx Cup playoffs from 125 down to 70 players for the first round. So you're basically almost cutting it in half, which is a little bit excessive in my opinion. But these are the changes that are coming to the tour, and this is their way of trying to counteract Live Golf. So we're gonna have to just live with it.
And you and I see what you did there. You and I talked about this when this news first leaked, maybe 2 months ago.
Yeah.
With the big old press conference and everything. I brought up, and I think you agreed with me, the 50 guys that get cut from this, current FedEx Cup format where it goes down to 70. There should be some sort of other event that goes on, and you and I both said maybe the top X amount of players that finish in that secondary event get some sort of auto bid for the FedEx Cup playoffs or something like that. That's how the PGA should be operating with this. I doubt they will, just because it is such a new thing for them that it's going to take time to develop different aspects of it. But it's almost in a sense like relegation in a way. Like they have with soccer and everything. You have these 50 guys that would normally make it. They're in a separate, tour event or tour playoff type situation. And then if they end up, in the top 5, top 10, whatever they want to end up doing, just as an example, they get that auto bid, or, they get X amount of FedEx Cup points for the following season or something like that to help kind of get them back to where they feel they belong. And then if you finish towards the bottom of that 70, there might be there might be a chance you drop down to that secondary event. You got to go earn your way back up.
So I brought this up when we first chatted about it. I thought of the NASCAR way, how they do their qualification, where, and this is again a very loose interpretation here. The top however many players make it, the next however many keep their in this case, keep their card for the PGA Tour, right? But they do enter into a secondary tournament to then play in. So even if it's like top 70 players make it, right? I would do, how about top, it was 125. I'd probably make it 90 or maybe even 100. Mm-hmm. And what you do is the top 70 players are auto bids. They're all in. The next 55 guys, you spend 2 weeks on the PGA Tour. This way, the top 70, it's like a bye week. You get 2 weeks off. You get to go, revamp, get ready for the playoffs. These next 50 guys, the top 25 guys, will make the FedEx Cup playoffs in a stroke play format where or even a match play if you really wanted to. How they do the WGC. They do it in 4 days, so I'm sure you can do it over 2 weeks. You do a match play or a stroke play. Best aggregate score makes or even based on cup points, makes it in. Because now, top 70 guys, if you look at who's currently on the outside looking in, there's a lot of really solid names: Adam Scott, Daniel Berger, Wyndham Clark, Taylor Moore, Joel Damon's on the bubble, Mark Hubbard, Patrick Rogers, Aaron Rye, Adam Svensson, Russell Knox, CT Pan. These are like household names week in and week out that you see somewhere, even on the secondary events, but you see them somewhere on the leaderboard at some point during the week. Hayden Buckley, even Justin Rose is currently 98th. So by next year's standards, he would miss out. Guys like Dylan Fratelli, Grayson Sigg, Ryan Palmer, Jason Day, Doug Gim. Again, these are all household names, guys that the typical fan the tour every week will probably watch once or twice and understand and know who they are. So they should definitely come up with a better format. I think the relegation idea is amazing. I mean, it's perfect. I just think that the Korn Ferry Tour is almost too big in order to do it. If they made a secondary tour between the Korn Ferry Tour and the PGA Tour, it would almost kind of work.
Or it's their way to, like, that's a way that they can be like, hey, we're going to pay more for the Korn Ferry Tour guys.
Yeah, well, I think the biggest thing would be, because there's, 500 players with tour cards, right? And there's 4,000 players on the KFT. And then there's 20,000 players in Q School. And you can, like, you're literally, like, dumbing it down to Q School is made up into 3 steps. In baseball terms, that's like single A, double A, and something between triple A and the pros. The Korn Ferry Tour is triple A, PGA is the MLB. And then, like, where Ben Pirro is, for example, is in, like, the Gulf Coast League of golf. The very starting out, like, era. There's, like, 18 divisions of baseball. You don't even realize it, but there is. Mm-hmm. And so I mean, if it's going to be a long time coming to figure it out, but if you can figure it out that way, that you could have kind of like, even in soccer, you have the Premier League and then the Champions League, the Championship League, the English Champions League. There's 2 of those. There's the lower level, second level, and you relegate. I don't know, based on, at the very least, if you're going to have a set number of players, I can't even tell you what the number would be. But there has to be a certain way to allow more smooth initiations in and out. Because as of right now, the only way to make the PGA Tour as a KFT player is to win multiple events, be the number 1 player on the money list, or finish top 3 in points. Not a lot of opportunity here. There's only 25 slots a year in order to get in, because 25 guys lose their tour card. It's a challenging topic, and it's tough to navigate. And I think it's more so because Jay Monahan hasn't figured out exactly a way to perfect it. But Live Golf's going to bring in a relegation method. I'm sure the PGA Tour is going to figure out something, because what they've done for the last few months is just rash decision making to try and counteract Live. So I'm sure they're going to come up with some funky format in order to try and change this. But as of right now, they're kind of taking a step backwards with this 125 down to 70 move.
Yeah, I mean, this wouldn't be the first league that our podcast network has come up with a relegation system for. Did it for lacrosse. We've done it for golf. Maybe Jay Monahan just needs to give the boys a call and let us help him, so that way he gets a little bit of this pressure, a little bit of this backlash off his shoulders, and he's got the boys working on it, and we fix golf.
I would love to get in the boardroom and just be in like the focus group to help fix golf. That would be incredible.
Hey, just put us in the breakaway rooms in real life. We'll make it happen. Jay, we got the ideas for you, brother. Just let us help you. Let us help you.
KB, you are full of transitions. You said breakaway. How about Tony the Tiger? Tony Finau's breaking away in monster fashion, back-to-back weeks on the PGA Tour, back-to-back W's.
He's great.
Tony the Tiger has gone all the way from like 80th on the FedEx Cup list to guess where?
Top 15?
Yes, 7th. This man has climbed from the pits of misery, and he has figured out how to win. He's figured out how to close. It's just, he has 3 wins in 1 1/4 seasons. For his second win on the PGA Tour was the Northern Trust, the week of that. Like,
and he's a drip god.
Storm. Yeah, dude.
He's a drip god.
That guy just.
That's why I had to come correct tonight with the fit.
You got to respect Tony the Tiger, man. Although that also isn't even his nickname, which is unfortunate because that should be. But Tony Finau, absolute fire. He's currently 7th, wiggled in between who was Rory McIlroy and Justin Thomas, currently in the FedEx Cup standings. He is locked in to another East Lake show out. Last year, he won the Northern Trust and finished second to go into East Lake. He might not do that if he doesn't win an event, but he'll certainly be in the top 10, top 15 range. But the fact that Tony Finau has figured out how to win and close, he has more wins in the last year. He has triple the number of wins in 1 year than he has in his entire PGA Tour career. He didn't win for 6 years after he won the Puerto Rico Open back in 2017. He was on a long hiatus, wasn't able to figure it out. Was a top 20 machine, was knocking down game after game after game, and finally has won back-to-back events. Wild stat that I think is just like absolutely bonkers. Tony Finau this past week, thanks to Justin Ray here for the stat. In his last 9 rounds, he's played golf at 49 under. He's made 55 birdies and only 6 bogeys, and he's hit 87% of green regulation. He has hit like ridiculous greens. He is 26.16 strokes gained ball striking off the tee plus approach, which is like, wow. He's the first player to win back-to-back weeks on the PGA Tour, each time by 3+ strokes, since Justin Thomas did it in Hawaii in 2017. And he's also, wait for it, there's another stat that I saw amazing. In his first round, he hit all 18 greens in reg. He gained 4.45 strokes tee to green per round on the field in his last 5 rounds, dating back to the first round of the Rocket Mortgage. That was the most in the last 5 years on the PGA Tour. Tony Finau's been on fire, and it's like, if he can get one more win, you got to realize. Last year, John and I were talking about it. The players who won multiple events: Bryson DeChambeau, Stuart Sink, Patrick Cantlay, and then there's a couple of others sprinkled in there. Now it's Scotty Scheffler, Tony Finau. Like, the numbers are into Cameron Smith. Patrick Cantlay is bordering 2 now. Rory's got 2 this year. These are names, dude. These are big time names. And we might have probably one of the best showings at East Lake of all time. As of right now, the top 30, if we go right in to East Lake, it's Scheffler, Cam Smith, Sam Burns, Schauffele, Cantlay, McElroy, Finau, Thomas, Cameron Young, and Matsuyama are the top 10. Followed by Zalatoris, Homa, Fitzpatrick, Spieth, Im, Rahm, Tom Hoagie, Billy Horschel, Victor Hovland, Taylor Gooch is your top 20. And then Neiman, Poston, Morikawa, Riley, Power, Spawn, Tringale, Lowry, List, and McNeely round out the top 30. Those are some low-key, dirty names on the bottom, especially JJ Spawn, who had his first career win at the Valero only a handful of months ago. Cameron Tringale has been showing out he's your boy. Davis Riley still looking for a first win. Power's been on fire all year. JT Poston went wire to wire at the John Deere. Taylor Gooch will not be a part of the field, so actually Keegan Bradley will then take over his spot, obviously, because he jumped ship. But this is a fire list of guys going into the top 30.
That's gas, and you know it's impressive if I know most of those guys' names.
So while Tony Finau took home his back-to-back win at the Rocket Mortgage, we got to look at some notable standouts and guys who really showed out this past week. I'm not sure if you have any guys that, of course, you're the casual fan here, but I got a handful of names that I was so awestruck by the entire week. And I got to start really with Taylor Pendrith, who shot outside of his final round 72, which was par for the course. Shot rounds of 64, 65, 66. That's the lowest 3-round score by a PGA Tour rookie of all time over the last, I think 15 years, which is absolutely incredible. From the Canadian, played really well this week. Cameron Young has his 7th top 3 finish this year without a W. I can't tell you what the longest streak is for that, but that's kind of ridiculous. Patrick Cantlay finished at T2. He's rounding out in the form at the right time. He's been on fire lately. And then guys within the top 20 who played really well this week. Jason Day showed out. Cameron Davis, back-to-back winner last year at the Rocket Mortgage. He showed out pretty well. As well as Russell Henley. He finished T10. He'll look for a big week. And like I said, JJ Spawn, a top 8 finish this week to get him all the way up towards that high rank in the FedEx Cup standings. Absolutely incredible play from these guys. KB, is there anything that you took away from this past weekend that you can hint on?
It was just Tony Finau. Like, his name was all over my timeline, and
The God,
rightfully so. Like, he's the
wire to
drip
wire, man.
god. He's a beast. I love seeing guys who are down in their druthers succeeding. So Tony Finau is slowly making his way into being hashtag one of my guys.
He's been one of my guys for a long time, and I'm very happy that like my top three for a long time. It was Bryson, Finau, and probably JT. Um, Rory was always there because I grew up around like Rory and Spieth and Tiger. Lately though, I think Bryson's fallen out because of Liv. I've kind of jumped off his wagon a little bit. I really do think my top three players right now, I would say, is probably McElroy, Finau, and Cameron Young. Like Cameron Young, I said it multiple times. I know his former caddy's friend I went to college with, so I had a connection to him while he was on the Corn Ferry Tour, and I had known about him, and I wanted to see what he's made of, and he's been absolutely incredible. Rookie year, top 10 in the FedEx Cup standings, just absolutely incredible. We're going to take a short break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk more LIV golf. Henrik Stenson with a big win in his first career LIV event, basically give a giant FU to the PGA Tour. We'll talk about him and how bad has Phil Mickelson looked. It is not pretty despite the $200 million contract. You are watching and listening. Get in the hole from the underground. Welcome back. It's Getting the Hole from the Underground. Steve McAvoy, Kyle Bennett here with you this week. Total sidebar before we get into the LIV chat. The Cardinals are getting Jose Quintana. What do you think?
I'm very bummed. He was Phil's target. I think Dave Dombrowski is asleep at the wheel right now because the Atlanta Braves are making moves right now too. And I don't like it, Steve. I don't like it at all.
Steve Cohen's also kind of laying back, although I think for some reason I have a good feeling he's going to just announce out of the blue that he traded a pile of dirt for JD Martinez, and I'll cry.
Well, to be fair, you guys have been linked to Wilson Contreras as well.
I don't know. The last thing they need is another non-defensive catcher on their roster.
Shout out James McCann.
Dude, absolute mess at the catching spot. But regardless, while the MLB is winding down towards our deadline, I hope to God if the Mets can get JD Martinez and David Robertson, I'll be going crazy.
Exclusive here, we might have an MLB trade deadline show tomorrow. So
that would be
potential. Just stay tuned.
That would be absolute money. Henrik Stenson won his first career LIV event literally only a week after signing on. He lost the Ryder Cup captaincy for Team Europe and basically gave a giant FU to the PGA Tour and Team Europe alike. What do you make of Henrik Stenson's 3-stroke win at LIV and what it means for not only his legacy on the PGA Tour, but how this affects the PGA Tour in terms of what he's done?
Henrik Stenson, he's very good people, Steve, okay? He made the jump just like I told him to. I told all these golfers. It was a Fox News headline. I broke it here first on the Get in the Hole podcast, though. All of the LIV Tour golfers, very good people. And all the PGA Tour golfers, I told them, make the jump. Come play at Trump Bedminster Golf Course. Come do it. And look what happens. Henrik Stenson comes over, says, fuck you to the Euros, just like we did back in 1776. Very patriotic. And he said, Team Europe, I don't need you. I need Trump. I need Bedminster. I need LIV. And he wins. Stenson's a winner. He's my favorite golfer right now, Steve.
Henrik went off. He had like money on his mind, but at the same time, I'm going to actually say that the PGA Tour is not. They aren't losing sleep over Henrik Stenson, a guy who's past his prime. He's just like Sergio, and he's like Poulter, and he's like Westwood, just another older guy who's just trying to make a living with LIV. He made probably $100 million. So Jay Monahan is kicking back in his seat. You know what? Go win.
See, he got the tweet from Donnie Jr. Donnie Jr., since I'm not allowed on Twitter, I let Donnie Jr. go and tweet, but I actually took Donnie's phone and I tweeted this from Donnie's account. The greatest FU in history of golf just happened. Awesome job at Henrik Stenson. 3 exclamation points. 1, 2, 3. 3 of them. Hashtag LIV Golf. Hashtag Ryder Cup. At LIV Golf Inv. At Trump Golf.
Hashtag live laugh golf.
Live, laugh, Trump.
Or no, it's laugh. Is it laugh live golf? I don't know what it is. I don't
We
really care.
laugh. If you laugh at live golf, you're a deplorable human being.
So while Henrik Stenson went absolutely off, Phil Mickelson continued to just die.
But Phil is having a great time on the live tour, okay? That's what he said in the headlines, and I would believe those headlines. He's having a great time playing in the live tour.
Yeah, if anybody believes that Phil Mickelson's having a good time on the live tour,
that was a literal headline I saw. It was like, despite struggles, Phil Mickelson enjoying playing the live golf tour.
Fake news. Fake news. I'm going to scream it from the headlines. Fake news. By the way, Adam Schupak, who was he's a writer for Golf Week, he tweeted out a few minutes ago. According to the Wall Street Journal, tickets for Saturday's session of Live Golf Bedminster were available on StubHub for as little as $1. More than $1 billion was spent on the field, and that level of demand at a major metropolitan area. Very telling, if you ask me. $1 for a golf tournament? Sounds hilarious.
I wanted to bring the people out to my course. I wanted to give them a first look at a high-profile, top-notch golf facility.
To their credit, Bedminster has a harder slope rating than Detroit. So
we also have a higher Coke rating, too.
They do. Also, Tony Finau has more wins in the past few days than DJ, Bubba, Bryson, Reed, Koepka, Casey, Westwood, and Sergio have combined over the past 2 years. Anyways,
that sounds like Plankton from SpongeBob's family reunion of all his family members.
Time to go to Plan Z. So Phil is just, he's struggling mightily. And it's like, first of all, when he went to go play in London, he looked like trash. I don't know if it's the gambling or whatever it is.
It's all the Coke, okay? I gave Phil some of my secret stash.
But to give you an idea of how bad he's played, and this is only after round one at Bedminster, he's gone 10 over in London. He went 11 over at the U.S. Open. He went 10 over in Portland, 5 over at the Open, and he was 4 over at Bedminster. I don't even know what he finished at. I don't really care what he finished at. Also, I can't find a live leaderboard anywhere. Like, you try and Google it. There's not even a live website that you could find the leaderboard, which is just stupid. But that happened. He's 41 over par in 11 rounds of golf, which is terrible. And 3 of the events that he played in had no cut line anyhow. So it would have literally only been worse if there was no cuts at the U.S. Open or the Open Championship. So Phil just continues to just fall down an absolute rabbit hole. But does he care? He's made $200 million in 2 hours.
Yeah, that is interesting. They only keep track of the leaderboard by the teams.
Yeah. Meanwhile, I don't know if you saw this, and I was getting tweeted back at it for this as well. Going into Sunday for both events, I was saying that 16 players had been even par or better at Bedminster. All 75 PGA Tour players who made the cut were under par, and 117 of them were even or better at the cut line. The cut line was 3 under. The final PGA Tour pairing, which was Finau and I believe it was Pendrith, was a combined 22 strokes better than the final live threesome, which was Dustin Johnson, Henrik Stenson, and Patrick Reed, who combined to be 11 under par, which is nuts.
I found the leaderboard by players, by the way.
You did. All right.
Yes.
What did Phil finish with? I can only imagine what
plus 6.
All right, so he's 44 over in 14 rounds of golf. 13 rounds of golf.
Yeah, so I just found it on their website. They have a tab for players and then a tab for teams.
Who won this week for the teams, by the way?
4 Aces Golf Club, which is Taylor Gooch. Is that DJ? Is their captain?
Yeah, Dustin Johnson. It's basically the dream team.
Patrick
DJ,
Reed.
it's Reed, it's Gooch, and it's who, Pat Perez.
Pat Perez.
It's basically the live dream team. If you go the only difference would be if you got rid of Pat Perez and put in Brooks Koepka.
They finished minus 25 as a team.
And the next team was probably minus 12.
Minus 17, and then third place was minus 12.
Jeez. The parity in live golf, man.
And then it was minus 9, minus 8, 2 teams with minus 4, a minus 2, an even, and then everybody else was plus.
Sounds to me like they have a parity problem. It's like the NFL. It's a too top-heavy league already. And it's been, what, three events?
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. Oh, Christ alive. The Live Golf Tour. If you had to pick any team to be a fan of, who would it be?
Ugh.
Gun to your head, Donald Trump and Greg Norman have...
It's a little too close to home.
They have one to each side. Who's the one team that you would have to root for?
Man.
On name alone, I would go Niblix, but they suck. So
yeah, it's a bad name, bad logo too. Looks too much like Notre Dame.
Hey, take that back.
No, I don't like Notre Dame. I mean, if Majestics wasn't spelled the way it was, they have a cool logo, but the name it gives me the ick.
Smash is a really cool name, but
yeah,
and Chase
and Kokrak, and ironically Bland.
You know who, in my opinion, actually has the best logo? It's Crushers.
Yeah,
they have by far the best logo.
I think Crushers. I think the top 3 logos are Crushers, Stinger, and 4 Aces.
I think Ironheads is also a very underrated logo. It's very classic.
Yeah, it's decent. Now that I can see the H in it, I thought it was just tally marks.
But
High Flyers doesn't have a bad logo either.
Yeah, but it's Phil's team, so fuck him.
Fair.
I think,
but it's also Matthew Wolf.
All right, so I can sympathize. Having punch golf with Wade Ormsby. This guy's been the captain for 7 weeks, and Lee Westwood's just hanging in the wind. When am I going to be the captain for a team? Wade Ormsby. I don't know who he paid off or who he did illegal things with.
That's so funny.
Who died and gave him a team?
He was probably one of the initial hedge fund people.
Probably, but some of the guys you could have put in there. Henrik Stenson, Ian Poulter. You could have given Paul Casey a team. Could have very easily given someone I don't know, Taylor Gooch a team.
Cleeks is such a gross name.
It's a horrible name. Well, apparently Niblix and Cleeks are 2 old school golf terms.
That's gross.
It's
too close to Gleek.
A Niblick is an iron with a heavy lofted head, like a 9-iron, used especially for playing out of bunkers.
Niblick sounds like a word that the guys from Cleeks would use.
It's a mid 19th century term.
It sounds like what the Irish guys would be saying.
A cleek it's an archaic golf club now seen only in sales of antique golf equipment. A narrow iron club head with little loft. Oh, so basically a Niblick is just the opposite of a cleek. A cleek is like a 4-iron.
So they're rivals.
It's like a wedge. Basically. On name alone. So does that mean Crushers and Punch are rivals then?
They should be rivals. Ironheads and Fireballs should be rivals.
Stingers and High Flyers are rivals too. Stingers are the low runners and the high flyers.
I think you could also make the case that Crushers and Torque should be rivals.
Well, what kind of name is Torque? It's a dumb name.
It has a decent logo. Decent color too.
What do you think? One more break. We go on to some PGA Tour look-ins and then bet the beer money?
Aye, Captain.
Let's do it. Taking our second break. This is going to be a interesting episode. This is probably the first time in a long time we're going to have 3 commercial breaks. So enjoy that. We'll be right back, folks. We're going to talk about the Wyndham Championship, the final event on the PGA Tour regular season. Some wild stuff. We're going to take a look at the PGA Tour FedEx Cup playoff standings, who's on the bubble, who has a risk of losing their tour card and missing out on yet another playoff season. Don't go nowhere. Welcome back in, folks, to the Getting the Hole podcast. Stephen McAvoy and KB here with you. It's time to talk a little bit about the Wyndham Championship, the final event on the PGA Tour calendar. It's time for some Course Confidential. Let's chat all things Sedgefield Country Club. KB, you want to take the host seat? Give me a little bit of time in as an analyst here?
Yeah, Steve. Let me know, as the casual golf fan that I am, what do I need to know about Sedgefield? What's the ins and outs of this place? What's it play like? What should these players be expecting this week for the Wyndham Championship?
So Donald Ross golf designs very similar to Detroit from last week, both designed by Donald Ross. The great Donald Ross. 9 par 4s under 440 yards. It's a 7,100-yard track, par 70. So we might very well be on 59 watch. We'll see what happens. Bermuda grass greens, fairways, and rough. We're down in North Carolina. It's the Sedgefield Country Club, their 83rd edition of the Wyndham Championship. They have 2 par 5s that are under 550, so very gettable. Par 3s are 156, 221, 240, and 160. So pretty good range in terms of the actual holes that we have here. Some trends, according to Greg Ducharme, of top 10 finishers in the past 3 years. 18 of 32 top 10 finishers had a prior top 10 at the Wyndham in their career. 21 of 32 had gained strokes off the tee in 2/3 of the events or better. And 21 of the 32 had gained strokes approaching the green in 2/3 of their events or better. In terms of short game, some really good numbers here. According to Greg, awesome guy. Definitely consider following him at the real GFD. He's the absolute bomb. 25 of 32 guys that gained strokes around the green in 2/3 of their events this past year. And 29 of 32 players top 10 finishers had gained strokes in multiple categories in 2/3 of their events or better. There are certain players who play much, much better here than others. Guys who drive the ball very well, guys who are very good on approach, and guys who are able to putt the best. 25 players ranked higher in driving accuracy than driving distance entering the week when they finished top 10 at this golf course. 18 were top 60 or better in driving accuracy, and 5 of them were top 60 in distance. So to be able to hit it straight and long is incredibly important. Accuracy off the tee is huge. Trending up in at least 2 other areas when it comes to distance, approach play, and putting is going to be huge. And if you have solid past performances at the Wyndham Championship, I haven't used this term in a long time, but we are looking for horses for courses, guys, who always play well at the Wyndham. And there is one guy who stands out among the rest, who loves this golf course more than anybody else, and that is Webb Simpson. And I will talk about him more during Beer Money. If you've watched the episode of the Wyndham last year, you know exactly what I'm going to say. But watch out for Webb Simpson this week. He is someone that I think will be absolutely insane. That brings me into my keys to victory here at the Wyndham. Like I had already said, distance, accuracy, they all matter. But the 3 keys that I want this week is past performance. Past performances on Donald Ross courses, which is also a very big metric. You don't really realize how similar a lot of these courses are. Granted, we're going from Detroit, which is a little bit chillier, even in the summer months, down to North Carolina. We also went from bent grass to Bermuda grass, so it'll be a little different. These greens will be lightning fast. Guys who are really good on the Bermuda grass greens, guys who drive the ball really well, accuracy-wise, approach play, and, of course, the ability to play on those Donald Ross course designs. So there you go. That's the breakdown of the Course Confidential of Sedgefield Country Club, the 83rd Wyndham Championship. Little quick breakdown. And now I retake the host seat. KB, this is the last event on the PGA Tour calendar into the playoffs. It's been a long time coming. It's been a very long season. It's crazy that I'm finishing my 2nd season with getting the hole almost.
They grow up so fast.
Last year, I jumped in at the PGA Championship, but still covered 34 events, which is kind of crazy to think about.
First full season.
Yeah, dude, first full season, almost in the books. We're only about 4 weeks away. A lot of turmoil, a lot of really crazy stuff. Let's take a look back. Let's reminisce on some of our favorite moments from the year. Can I get some music? There's some fun, nice music that we can
This is
get.
my air harp.
Here. This is called a acoustic.
It's not bad.
Yeah, there were just so many really great moments from this past PGA Tour season that I just you look back and you think about all the big wins. Max Homa with multiple wins. Matt Fitzpatrick getting his first major championship and his first PGA Tour win at the U.S. Open. Will Zalatoris coming so close but finishing it so far and was unable to slam the door. Cameron Young with all those insane top 3 finishes and again wasn't able to close the door. Scotty Scheffler had, I can't even tell you, the I haven't seen someone be that dominant at some of the world's best courses, from the Waste Management to the API to the Masters. Like these are no slouch events. These are big time events that this kid won. It's been absolutely amazing. What's been your biggest takeaways this year? Give me a feel.
I mean, I'll never forget our first live event, watching everything go down, and that epic moment with Rory and Colin becoming the two best friends that anybody could ever have. Just an iconic moment that is imprinted in my brain forever. You know, like you said, Scotty Scheffler doing the damn thing, discovering Victor Hovland's Spotify playlist this year was absolutely electric, just like his pants. Tiger's comeback.
Honestly, the metal music that kind of does it for me.
It's a beautiful thing. We love Victor Hovland. Oh. I mean, Tiger making the rounds, doing his comeback. It was a very big year, I think, for the sport in general. This PGA Tour regular season really, I think, elevated the sport into the common man's threshold more than any other year.
Yeah, I think that outside of COVID, where obviously golf sales hit a record peak, the fandom wasn't necessarily like always there. And I think back to when it was the Bryson and Brooks conflict, and how I was debating like the morality of like people chirping at Bryson, and how he was getting mad and he was in this pit. Fans did come out in droves, more so as young people, and I saw that during the Northern Trust. There was a lot of young folks in attendance, a lot of kids too, which was really nice. But I think this year really did propel the PGA Tour to even bigger heights than it did. And yeah, was there dejections? Was there certain things that pushed them back? Obviously, LIV was a major factor here, and who knows what might happen in the future. LIV's done a great job, to their credit, and I'm not gonna harp on this whole LIV thing because we were talking about it for months. But overall, I think both tours have done a really good job, and they're both bringing you a different feel, a different game, and just something that is just, again, different. LIV's giving you the more team style atmosphere. They're giving you more fun, I would say, than the PGA Tour. Sometimes there have been weeks where I've done this show, like the Wells Fargo 1 week, and there was the Barbasol the week prior to the Open, and the Bermuda Championship. Like, these were just snoozer weeks. That there were times where like I didn't even want to like record the show, to be honest with you, just because the event was just so boring, and there was nothing to look forward to because there was an alternate event. Like, at least with LIV, it's giving you some more variety, and things might change. They're at the change. It's probably going to happen, but at the very least, this season's given us a lot of new things to look at, and with the opportunity that the PGL might jump on with the PGA, obviously. PGL doesn't really exist. It's just really an entity. But what the PGL wanted to do was what LIV did, and they just didn't have the financial backing of it. Maybe they'll join the PGA Tour and they'll try and reinvigorate what they have. Maybe LIV Golf will join up with the LPGA Tour and create a women's LIV Golf League. You never really know. There's a lot of different things that can happen. But overall, between the winners, the losers, the actual events, I feel really dumb for totally just ignoring the fact that we had our first live event, obviously at the golf course down in Vineland, and then at the Double Eagle was an awesome time there. Watching Scotty Scheffler win the green jacket, watching Rory go off that week, playing the course, which obviously was an awesome time that we had there. Tiger's comeback, his final walk at the Open. There was just a lot of different moments that were really impactful this season, and I think despite some of the snoozers, there was a lot more good than there was bad.
Completely agree. Couldn't have said it better myself.
Just an awesome year, and I'm really looking forward to the playoffs. The playoffs is going to be electric. Like I had said, a lot of these guys in the field that'll take part in the St. Jude Invitational at TBC Southwind at the BMW. Hopefully, we'll be at the BMW. Who knows? We might very well make a trip down for another playoff run. Very well, we'll see a lot of really good action at East Lake. I think it's going to be a great time. With that being said, we have to take a look now at the actual FedEx Cup playoff picture. Who's in, who's out, who are guys that are on the bubble that we should be kind of nervous about? Who are guys who might lose their tour card? We had mentioned earlier in the show the fact that the PGA Tour does a terrible job at relegation and all these different things, and it's very important to go all the way down this list to talk about some of the guys who are on the bubble and make some predictions. Who's in, who is out. Really fascinating numbers in relation actually to the Wyndham Championship that I want to read off. It's players that are ranked between 120th and 130th over the last 3 seasons getting into the playoffs. Those guys that are on the list, I had mentioned them earlier. I'll say it again now. Nick Taylor, Justin Hadley, Kramer Hickok, Ricky Fowler, Matt Wallace, Austin Smotherman, Max McGreevy, Danny Willett, Justin Lower, Nick Hardy, and Cameron Champ. Those are guys at 120 to 130, not excluding guys who are getting kicked off because of LIV. That includes guys like Pat Perez and Paul Casey that are in that list. Some numbers that I found dating back to 2019 from guys who were on the bubble going into Wyndham. In 2019, only 2 players finished top 30. That was Patton Kizzire and Bryce Garnett. They both managed to make the playoff, but they were also exempt from losing their tour card because they had won that season. So if you win an event, you keep your tour card. In 2020, Siwoo Kim, they both qualified while being on the bubble. They were both top 10 that week, 3rd and 7th, and they made it. Were also exempt because they had won that season. In 2021, only 1 player finished top 15, but 6 guys were on the bubble and kept their tour card because of previous wins. That one guy in the top 15 was Adam Scott. He obviously lost in the playoff, the 6-way playoff to Kevin Kisner. But again, he had a win that year. So in the 3 years, across 33 players, only 4 top 10 finishes. Each of them already had won that given season, so they all kept their card. 25 players finished outside of the top 30. All of them missed the playoffs, and some of them lost their tour card. And there are 14 missed cuts. That's over. So when it comes to looking at guys to pick this week and to fade, you kind of want to focus in on certain guys: Lucas Glover, Nick Taylor, Justin Hadley, Hickok. I think Ricky Fowler is a compelling name. Obviously, he's a household name. Was great back in 2016, and for some reason hasn't been able to get there. Has not played in a major in more than a year. It's been a pretty slippery slope for him. Cameron Champ is another notable name that I had mentioned. Doc Redman, Harry Higgs. Zach Johnson is currently on the bubble as well. And then let's go even further down the list here and see who are guys that are on the verge of possibly losing their card. Honestly, there aren't many huge names. Harris English is one of the guys that stand out. Obviously, he's been hurt for almost a whole year, so he actually might get a injury exemption. There's one name, KB, who's currently 210th in the PGA Tour standings, who very well might lose his tour card.
Who might that be?
Someone who isn't very fond of this podcast.
Oh, man. We need to hate watch. We need a hate watch live stream.
We're going to run this kid to the ground.
Fuck that guy.
Oh, my God. It's like actually kind of, it's like funny. Like where we've gotten to.
I love that we live rent-free in his head.
We really do.
That's a moment from the PGA Tour season as well. We became Grayson Murray's least favorite podcast.
Yeah. Oh my God. I mean, honestly, I think a lot of different podcasts share that title, but I will most certainly take it. I'll
it's in the bio.
And get
it's in the bio.
A full ass trophy. Yeah. Again, I will go to Trophy Smack or someplace and literally get a giant trophy. Grayson Murray's most hated podcast. Get in the hole.
That should be. That would be hilarious if that was like if we ever had like a golf like invitational or whatever. It's just like
the Grayson Murray
with
Cup.
The Grayson Murray Hate Cup.
The fuck you cup. So yeah, so there's a lot of different guys on the bubble. Some guys who are currently like on the bubble that are kind of there. You got to realize some guys on the back end, if they play really well, they can squeak their way in. Matthias Schwab, 123rd. Patton Kizzire, 124. Stuart Sink, 125. Even Webb Simpson, 126. But we're going to talk more about Webb just in a bit. Scott Piercy, who had a meltdown of the 3M, he's 117th. Jason Teen. These are some guys who you might want to look out for to possibly drop down a little bit if possible. But there's a lot of guys who are also very firmly in. The running to bust their way into a big time playoff push this season. Cameron Davis, Mark Leishman, Tyrrell Hatton, Harold Varner has been absolutely incredible. Brian Harman's been awesome this year. Tommy Fleetwood, 48th this year in the FedEx Cup standings after losing his tour card last year. He's back in action and he's ready to roll. So very excited to see what's to come here. But a lot of guys on the bubble to look out for, and it's only a matter of time until we see at the end of this week who's out and who's in. And you'll probably see a blog post about it next week once the actual cut line does come in. With that being said, we have one final break. When we come back, it's your favorite part of the show. It's beer money. Get ready for it. Again, folks, get in the hole. It's time for your favorite part of the night. Beer money brought to you by our friends over at Kenwood Beer. Philadelphia's #1 favorite light beer. Better than the big guys, better than anybody else in the market. Fuck Bud Light and fuck the rest of them. It's Kenwood. Let's get a Kenny and strap in for our top 20 pick at the Wyndham Championship, the final event of the PGA Tour calendar. KB, lead it off for us. Who do you got on the bet slip?
Top 20 this week. I mean, it's all on the line this week.
All on the line.
It's all on the line. And I'm not talking the money line. I'm talking the top 20 line. But top 20, there's a lot of names out there. I'm trying to pull up the field real quick. Top 20. I am going to have to go, if this will load properly. Top 20. Here we go. Let's see. Top 20. I'm gonna go with a hashtag my guy. I'm gonna go with Corey Connors, top 20.
He's like the super top 20 machine almost. Like perfect pet. I'm actually gonna join you on Corey Connors there for a top 20. Really solid numbers. As of right now, to win this week, he is. Let me find him. He's 2,400 to win. I think he's probably around plus 120 for a top 20, which I'm totally fine with. It's a very good number for him this week. I love Corey Connors. Hits the ball straight, hits it far. The putter has been atrocious, but at the same time, if he's able to figure it out, I see no problem with him managing to get far enough to at least give me some sort of skin in the game this week for top 20. So I'll take it. Who's your top 10 this week?
Top 10. Let's see. Top 10 for me is going to go to one Shane Lowry.
You're taking literally all my picks. All right, I'm gonna shake things up here.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing that we're on the same page.
I have to. I don't really know. Top 10, I'm going Brian Harman. He's plus 350 for a top 10. He's been impeccable this year. Like probably the most under. Like, you ever see a guy in the NBA have a quiet double, like just quietly drops 20 and 12 and you don't even realize it.
Russell Westbrook.
I'm thinking more like Andre Drummond. Like, he's just quietly like he takes 6 jump shots. He makes his way to the line. He somehow knocks down 2 every 4 attempts. And he's just randomly 20 and 12 by the middle of the third quarter. Brian Harman has had top 15s at the Open, at the John Deere, at the U.S. Open, at the PGA Championship, and at the Masters. Wild stuff. Top 15s at majors. Brian Harman, he's firmly in his place to make it to the playoffs. I think for plus 350 is almost a home run for Harman. Top 5, KB.
Well, you brought up putters being atrocious, and in the past, we've seen some atrocious putters. And although right now he is the favorite to win,
please don't say it.
My top 5 is going to be the #1 hashtag KB's guy, Willie Z.
I have him there too. All right, I'm changing it. Russell Henley for top 5. I have no stats on Russell Henley. All I know is that there's literally one player who was better than him this past week
Plus
at
2,400 to win.
There was only one player who was better than Russell Henley in strokes gained tee to green, and it was Tony Finau. And this is a course that fits him. You know, they said that this week for Willie Z, it's basically it's a home game because he went to Wake Forest, which is just down the road. So I had Willie Z here, plus 275 for a top 5, and you unceremoniously stole it from me. So whatever.
Hey,
all right,
we're on the same page.
Best bet.
Best bet.
Your gimme play of the week.
Justin Rose top 40.
Thank God you didn't take the one. All right. There's only one guy who has better results than anybody at the Wyndham Championship. So much so, and he loves this golf course, he named his daughter Wyndham.
Man, imagine being a daughter named after a hotel chain.
Right?
I'd be disgusted with my father.
It's also a skiing mountain. But
fair. But still, when I think Wyndham, I think hotel chain.
Webb Simpson, top 20. This guy loves this golf course. He loves this place. And it's like it actually isn't even close. Hold on. I'm gonna for S's and G's, I'm pulling up Webb Simpson's profile. Because like his results at this golf course are like over the top insane, and I need to like shout out how good he's been. Now, granted, it's also incredibly appropriate. This past week, he finished T69. #nice. Also, a graduate of Wake Forest University. Did you know that his major at Wake Forest was religion?
That's scary.
It's crazy. At Sedgefield Country Club, his results. He's been playing here since 2009. In order. He missed the cut in 2009, his rookie year. Finished 8th in 2010. 1st in 2011. 22nd, 11th. Injury. And then in the last 5 years, 3rd, 2nd, 2nd, 3rd, 7th. Bonkers. Bonkers numbers. The fact that he has three scores in 11 years outside of the top 20. Sorry, top 10 is insane. So Webb Simpson, top 20. He's also I'm pretty sure almost the betting favorite this week, but I'll just take the free money. Hey, big.
Webb Simpson is my winner.
Yeah, I would hope he is. I have 5 names as my winner, and I'm going to give you all of them just so you can bet them however you would like. The guy who I'm going to take to win is Aaron Wise. He's currently, he's pretty high on this list. Let me find this. He's plus 3,000 to win. He fits this golf course to a T, essentially. If you agree with the assessment that you need somebody who hits the ball far, putts really well on Bermuda grass, and is pretty damn good at approach play, he's the guy. Even if you don't think he's the guy, he's the guy. It's him and Davis Riley are the 2 guys who I'm looking at that I'm in love with this week. My 5 outrights that I'm probably going to pick up: Aaron Wise, Davis Riley, Keith Mitchell. I'll throw a flyer on Webb, and I'm going to put a flyer down on Shane Lowry. I think those are the guys who I'm really interested in this week. Lowry could use a really good push to go into the playoffs. Aaron Wise, he's in the mix currently, but could use a few points to get up. Keith Mitchell's on the bubble, and Davis Riley hasn't gotten a win yet on the PGA Tour. What better to get his first win in the final event of the year? Adam Scott, also plus 2,500 to win, is a guy who finished second, only behind Kevin Kisner last year at the Wyndham in a 6-way tie in the playoff. So those are guys who I'm looking at this week. Aaron Wise is the guy to beat. He played really well at Detroit, and he's been playing pretty damn good ever since his run at the Barbasol. So I'm going to go all in with Aaron Wise.
Seems pretty wise.
KB, seems pretty damn wise to me. You know what's pretty wise? Tiger Woods turning down $800 million to stick it with the at the PGA.
That's one of those type of moves.
He's like, bro, like, do you not know who I am? I have 15 houses. I've built Michael Jordan's golf course in Palm Beach. Do you know Tiger Woods also owns a chain of mini golf courses called Pop Stroke, which now his mini golf courses are I don't know who like measures these, are rated the hardest mini golf courses in the world.
You know what we should do? Because I've seen other media companies start to do this. We should have a company mini golf tournament.
Totally.
That would be
I'd beat all y'all.
It would be electric.
I feel like
Ben would torch us in a mini golf tournament.
Yeah, but like with the obstructions though, like I don't know.
I feel like Ben's a big physics guy.
I don't know. I have to ask him. I should just call him and be like, hey, like what was your physics average at high school? Ben definitely didn't take any like super hefty science electives. I'm pretty sure his degree's in finance. Like, you know, he probably took earth sciences and like sat in the back of the room and watched Netflix all day.
Hey, sounds like an ideal time.
That's what I did. And I took an earth science class my senior year, and sat in the back of the room, watched just baseball every day because it was a spring semester class, and it was presentation week, and I had to give a presentation on renewable energy, and I was the only business kid in the class. I don't know how I was the only kid in business in this class. I gave a business presentation about Elon Musk trying to power all of America with solar panels, and I blew away this professor. He wanted to submit my stuff to like a national like board to get like recognized for like advancements in business science, because I was like, oh, like Elon Musk can build a battery that operates the same. Every single can go through the installation of getting solar panels on their house, and they run their house solely off of a backup generator battery. And you bought like 50 acres of land in the Mojave Desert, and you just put solar panels up. You would kill wildlife, but you'd be able to power the entirety of the United States. And if you did that, and you basically use these batteries like propane tanks, it would only take like X number of like gigawatts to power the world. And this guy was like blown away by it. So totally unnecessary. My extent of science.
You should find like a way to PDF that paper or whatever and just tweet it at Elon.
I should, honestly. I should. Actually, wasn't even PowerPoint.
Welcome to the Getting the Whole podcast powered by Tesla.
It'll be me with the long metal stick that you pull out and you smack it against the board. Like, this is what
Pay attention. No capes.
No capes. Edna mode. Oh my god.
That's incredible.
Oh, so bad. Oh my god. All right. Anyways, that's going to do it all from me and KB here on the Getting the Whole podcast, brought to you by our friends over at Kenwood Beer, Tom Off Shades, and the of course, Pickup, our boys over there. Love those guys. And Bino Boards. Haven't talked about Bino Boards in a long time. You probably heard one of their ads at some point during the show. That's going to do it all from me and KB.
Stay tuned for big announcement on Wednesday. Big announcement at Getting the Whole Pod on the Twitter machine. It'll be on the Instagram machine. We're announcing something big.
On Wednesday?
Yeah, we're gonna tweet something out on Wednesday to let the people know, what's going down. We're yelling timber.
I don't even know what this is about. What?
No, you do. As soon as we sign off, you'll know exactly what it is.
Oh, Zoink Scoob! All right, well...
Zoink Scoob, we gotta get out of here! Run, Raggy!
Oh my God, that's gonna do it all for me and KB here. Bye for now. That's not that. Have a good night, folks. Enjoy the Wyndham Championship. Playoff picture is coming right around the corner. We'll see you guys.